having an existing kind of clientele, that's helped me. It's not cooking like it was. It's slow on both sides. It's slow on the hiring side, and I think it's slow on a lot of applicants. A lot of applicants they're not looking to make a move right now.
Welcome back to Talent Hunters, where we explore insights and trends shaping the global recruiting and staffing industry. Want to build talented teams that drive your company toward big goals and big growth? Then this podcast is for you. And now, let's join the conversation with today's episode of Talent Hunters, brought to you by HireQuest. Connect with us at hirequest.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Vince Holt, the host of Talent Hunters. And today we have Scott Clark, founder and owner of DirectPath Recruiting Services, located in Madison, Alabama. Scott has over 25 years recruiting in the manufacturing world. Welcome back, Scott.
Thank you, Vince. Great to be back.
So it's almost been exactly 1 year since you and I did this before. What's changed in your industry in that year?
The industry, as far as the automotive side or recruiting or both, or what you mean?
Just everything that you touch.
Gotcha. The industry hasn't changed too much. The automotive side, it's a little slower than normal and a little slower than I had probably anticipated coming into it, because if you remember, I came from I was a talent acquisition director of an environmental company internally, and then came back into the staffing world. And I guess I thought that it would kind of be where it was when I left it, where there's a little bit more going on, but it has slowed a little bit. But there's still pockets always hiring. I would say, probably maybe the entrance of AI has probably, changed a little bit more. At least I've become a little bit more educated on it. Not anywhere near probably what most people are, but, utilizing that a lot more than I probably ever have in recruiting.
So what about the communication with you and your hiring authorities? More difficult, less difficult? What's your feelings in being able to reach the people in your client companies to be able to have a conversation with them?
Yeah, it's a little bit. It is more tough to get to the ones, especially if I don't have an existing relationship. I've been blessed with being able to have some ex-clients of mine, former hiring authority people of mine that I've worked with in the past. So that's a little bit obviously better, though they're open more to call and or to have a call and talk to you more. But it is a little bit more challenging. I haven't hit on the full BDs. That's probably the biggest thing in my career that's changed is I'm more of a recruiter than I've ever been. Most of my career I was business development, so my job was I was out beating the street, trying to talk to as many hiring authority people as possible, get as much positions as we have, and then kind of feed into the recruiters, and they did the recruiting side. So, that's been a change where I've done that more. So at the same time, I don't need to have 15, 20, 30 clients, although I wouldn't mind it, to keep me going. So that's been a big change.
What do you feel? And I'm focusing on you specifically here before we go outside to the clients and the candidates and so forth. But what do you feel has been the biggest hurdle in the last year? You've grown your business since we talked last. What's been the biggest hurdle or struggle for you to actually grow that business?
Having an existing kind of clientele, a book of business, as you would say, that's helped me, and that's helped fueled me, and I've gotten pretty much probably 90% of my business is through existing relationships that I've already have. Now, for me to go to that next level, now I've got to go out and I do have to go get new clients. As we all know, in the recruiting industry, it's temporary. You have a client one day, and then all of a sudden they don't have a need. So you can't just sit back on your laurels and just think that the same clients are going to come at you every single time. So that's something that I need to start reaching out to do, and and getting that mix of, okay, I've got current business now to recruit on. If I go out and start trying to get more, who's working on the recruiting side of the existing positions I have open. So striking that balance is something that I got to get to as well.
Do you find, and I'm asking you these questions to help other people as well, okay? And so do you find that you work a structured day, or do you find that you just focus on the clients that you might have a search on and go to work to fill that first?
Yeah, it's more structured of recruiting is probably the bulk of it. But then I'll try to dedicate some time to at least go out there and see who's hiring, see if it's a person I may know or someone that I can call on. I kind of go that route. So I'd say probably the bulk of the time is 75% recruiting, and then carve out a little bit of that time, to try to reach out and get some new business.
Gotcha.
And that varies. It varies every day. I mean, it could be a day where, hey, recruiting's going good. I'm getting candidates. I'm in a groove. I might do that longer. And then it could be reversed to where, okay, hey, I've been on these positions for a while. It's, just stalled a little bit on applicants. So maybe it's a good time to reach out and, start getting on the business development side.
Yeah, I might suggest throwing in a little bit of take some time to structure your day. And every day, do some marketing. And because to your point, I mean, you said it all. The real hurdle that I found in my career was if I only focused on the clients that had the needs right now, you said it best. They go away. If I do my job, I fill the job, right?
Yeah.
I don't have anything else to work on.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I learned from management recruiters, and they taught me this, none of this is my idea, but market every day, because not only could you be working on something in a search assignment that may not be advantageous to putting a deal together, but you're always in the game when you're marketing, and we can discuss marketing style and so forth later on. But politically speaking, okay, what have you run into in regards to the tariffs? Any kind of hiccup or anything?
Yeah, not for me specifically, but yeah, it has hit this time. I mean, you said I'm from Massanutten, which is true. It's a stone throw from Huntsville, Alabama, and we've got the Redstone Arsenal here. So yeah, I've had friends and some people, that were hit with some of those cuts, the Doge cuts, as well as the tariffs. I've got one of my clients is actually promoting like, hey, there's no tariffs if you work with us. So they're trying to get more business that way. So it's out there. It hasn't hit me or any of my clients hard, really. But at the same time, that could be why there's not a lot of hiring going on right now.
Well, focusing on the manufacturer, I mean, obviously the tariffs are hit from the people that are shipping in goods and so forth, and supplies and so forth. And if you're working directly into the manufacturers themselves, that might be a benefit. I don't know. I mean, what do you hear as far as the tariffs are concerned and how it's impacting their business? Not much from the clients that I've talked to. I mean, it's not affecting them right now. I'm sure it has to be at some extent, and maybe they're sitting back to see. Maybe in time we'll find out a little bit more. But it hasn't been like, hey, these tariffs are really hurting our business or anything like that. I haven't come across that. Feel blessed, my friend, because there are companies out there, recruiters and so forth, that are running into it. So just keep your nose down and keep your ears plugged. I mean, you're doing right. Yeah. It really is. So is there anything specifically that you feel has affected hiring trends in your industry?
Yeah, I think it's still not it's not cooking like it was, and I mean, like, I'm talking years ago. Like, you can feel it. You can just feel the temperature when like, oh man, it is, everyone's needing someone, and it's a really a big war for talent. What I've seen, it seems it's slow on both sides. It's slow on the hiring side. And I think it's slow on a lot of applicants. A lot of applicants they're not looking to make a move right now. I think there's still a little unsteadiness in the industry and what's going to happen and what's to come. It's just like it's always been. I mean, automotive is it's gonna stall a little bit, and then it's gonna pick up, and it's gonna be crazy again. And it's gonna happen here soon, I believe. But right now, I think everyone's kind of in a standstill of like I think it's better than it's been over the last year. It's increasingly getting a little bit better, but we're still in a spot where people are kind of uncertain on what's next.
Now, recently, if I'm not mistaken, you got to attend a HireQuest Owners Conference. What was your takeaway, just generally speaking, what was your takeaway from that conference?
Well, first the takeaway was, you mean all I got to do is fly to Barbados and you'll put a room in there for free? And yeah, I'm in. But it reminded me a lot of when I used to work in a past life with Aerotech, when they would do the same thing. It'd be a Cancun trip every year. That's what all the sales and recruiters kind of went after. That was the goal, to get there, and just having, but a little bit different feel because we're all owners as opposed to just all employees together. So, it was very familiar to me at one part from that aspect. But what I really loved about it was other owners, so being able to talk to them and meet with them, and just very impressed with everyone that I met. And that's always so good to go and be around people like that, successful people, picking their brains and what they've done. And just, you want to be around those kind of people, and you want to be one of those people that are just as successful as them. I mean, that's kind of the gig, right? Obviously we do it to make a living and get people their dream jobs and all the good stuff. But there's a little bit of, a little vainness of, hey, I want to be the top dog here, and that always helps me motivate me to do better. And when next time I'm back there, I can, hopefully get one of those awards that everyone got except me.
Well, I don't think you're the only one that didn't. But, it's interesting because I'm a little bit jealous that you got to attend this, because in my day, we didn't have the temporary hiring and the contract staffing and all that stuff that HireQuest has. So did you get a chance to interface with people that do the other side of the business, the temporary and so forth? Did you get a chance to talk to any of those owners?
Oh yeah, I did. I talked to a couple of them, and I'm familiar with them. People Link, where I worked for 2-3 year time, we had a new CEO that it's another competitor of HireQuest. That's where he came from, and he started to kind of introduce that kind of day labor kind of type work. So I was a little bit familiar with them, but very, very impressed with their gross margins that they're able to get, which makes sense. I mean, it's only a day, 2 weeks, but also very impressed with their work ethic. I mean, you're hustling when you're doing that. When you need 10 people to start the next day, you got to be very organized. You got to know your people, and you got to hustle. So yeah, very impressed all the way around with them.
I can tell you that I did this for like 38 years. And back, I would say for probably the first 25 to 30 years, 25% of my business was in split business. And it happened with something that I really wasn't an expert at, such as temporary or even another industry that was doing something different. It might have been an accounting person, because I did manufacturing as well. What I found was it was hard to trust partners because, like you say, they did the same thing I did. Well, gosh, if I open the door for them and they get into my client, I'm going to lose my client. But part of that went away as I started to truly explain to my clients what I was doing and why I was doing it. Wasn't trying to get away from doing the work. It was truly bringing in somebody that specialized in something, and it became an added value to my client. And in retrospect, I never lost a client, ever. And I learned that from a recruiter over on the East Coast. Gosh, I can't remember his name, but he had this attitude, super successful, but he had this attitude, look, competitors, I'll give you the name of the people I'm working with. Go try to take their business away from me. You won't do it because of what I give them. And it was amazing because I learned it from him, and it works. If you're that transparent with the relationships that you have, it can truly, truly work. Yeah. So I would suggest, pursuing that, because all that does is it allows you to get a little bit more change in the coffer if you can trust a partner to help you on that sort of thing. Does that make any sense?
Yeah. Oh, it does for sure. Yeah, and I totally agree with you. It's just a matter of not having had it done. Not a matter of trust, because I'm kind of the same way where, hey, if I lose a requirement, or I don't think I'd ever lose a client unless I just might lose that position to someone else. I mean, competition's going to be there, and they're looking to fill it. And I do love the idea of bringing extra value to your client, because that just solidifies your relationship with them even more. So that makes a lot of sense. It does. And I haven't had a chance to fully partner with anyone yet as far as taking to the finish line. But yeah, I have worked on and helped with others and partnered over this year, and would have definitely no problem doing that. 25% or 50% of something is better than 0% of everything, right?
Exactly. That's exactly right. And so did you, when you were at this conference, were you able to identify people that worked in your dig?
I did not meet anyone in automotive. I did not. But I did meet the HireQuest team out of Birmingham that also handles Huntsville, I believe. I know there's a Huntsville presence. I don't know if there's there has to be an office here if they're doing day labor or so, but I believe it's out of Birmingham. I was in the Birmingham Snelling office and met them as well. The one here in Huntsville wasn't there. I was hoping to meet them. But yeah, that's about it.
I miss those opportunities to meet the other owners. Like you say, I mean, yeah, would light a fire in my belly because, look, it was, I always wanted to be in the top 10. I always wanted to be number one. It was just how I grew in the business. So I love to hear you say that, because I can feel it coming out of you that I want to be that guy on stage, and you're going to get there. All you got to do is get hungry.
Yep, absolutely.
So what do you feel cuts you different than your competition?
Different from my competition is I think I do a good job building relationships with the hiring authorities, but which is obviously very important. But I really think it's a sense of urgency. It's knowing that position, especially if it's a position I know I can fill. It's one I've done before. I've worked with this client before. That increases that sense of urgency, and the higher sense of urgency you have, the more successful you are. It just I don't know what it is. It's just that great resume pops out on the screen when you really, really want to fill that position quicker than your competition. So that's what I would say would be the difference maker for me is that right there, is that sense of urgency. And I guess it goes along with that competitiveness of wanting to win and wanting to pay my bills and feed my dog and take my wife out to dinner.
I love that. So do you feel that you have a unique value prop to offer?
I think that's it. It's all wrapped up. It's that sense of urgency. It's that relationship building. That's understanding the position itself, on what they're looking for, and also I try to make it as seamless to work with me as possible. I don't want hey, can I come over and talk this list with you over 15, 20, 30 things for the different positions that you want every time. When they pick up that call, if they ever do, or when they finally make the mistake to pick up their call when I call, it's not, oh no, it's Scott and he's going to keep me on the phone for 30 minutes when I'm busy. So to me, it's that, because we all get salespeople calling us or stopping over at our house and everything. And you can tell the good ones from the bad ones very quickly that respect that person's time.
So to our listeners, how long have you had your office now?
I think it was about a year, 15 months or so, maybe 16.
Okay, so roughly a year and a half. What would you say to somebody that wanted to become an owner from being a recruiter? What piece of advice would you give them starting out?
Starting out, will fully embrace everything that MRI has to offer. Because that's, if you're a recruiter, okay, fine, you know how to recruit, MRI can still help you and probably make you get better, but there's so much more to it than just recruiting. Because if you just recruited, how much business development have you done? How many clients are you able to bring over and call you on your first day and say, this is what I'm doing now? You brought up the point about marketing, and that's exactly the area that I do need help on. And that's what I loved about MRI is they do have that marketing support, and it's helped me out a lot, actually. But I need to dive into that more. So it's really fully embrace everything they have. Don't just come in here thinking you're just going to start recruiting. It's going to be the same thing that you've done for 10, 15, 20 years. It's a whole different ballgame now. But the biggest advice I would do too is it's great that you can be a recruiter, but you have to have the clients. So you have to understand what you're good at, what's your dig, and start building those relationships. And to me, if it's just a recruiter coming in, that's all they've ever done, that's going to be a little bit of a big hurdle for them to get into that BD mindset, because it's a whole different ballgame. I think it's better to come in with clients, and then you can just start recruiting as opposed to, okay, I'm a recruiter, now I go get the clients. So that's what I would say. Embrace them right now. They have great training on the recruiting side, on the BD side. And maybe even reach out and try to get a mentor within MRI. I've had many conversations with MRI owners, and they're great people to talk to, and they're there to help just as much as you'd be there to help them.
So, to wrap this up, do you have any questions for me, Scott?
Any questions for you? No, I don't think so.
Okay. Well, I'd sure like to thank you very, very much for coming back on here again. And I'm just so proud to see how much your business has grown since the last time we talked. Stay at it, stay disciplined,